March 26th, me and my wife, we celebrated our first anniversary. All right. I decided that we would go to the place where we honeymooned. We went back to a city called Cincinnati, Ohio. Me and my wife, we decided that on this trip that we would get out and check out the city. This particular city has a place called the Freedom Underground Railroad. At the Freedom Underground Railroad is a place where they have enacted, if you will, they have displays all over a 3-story building that has pictures and has artifacts of slavery. While there is a house that was called a slave pen. And right outside of the slave pen, there is a wooden structure. And on that structure, there are some words that were penned by a black historian by the name of Carl Westmoreland. And on that wood is a poem that says, "Tell it." The poem kind of goes like this. It says, tell my mother to pray for me. Tell my wife, don't cry. Tell my girl, be brave. Tell my son to become a man for me. And pass on my name. Tell the historians to tell the ugly truth of why you brought us here. And tell the rulers of the land to not let it happen again. That stirred my spirit. And it kind of pricked me and pushed me into the place of knowing I was coming here. And the Lord spoke to me. And he said, tell it. Carl Westmoreland was trying to explain about a man who was telling about his family to pray for him, to be brave for him, in spite of what he was going through. He knew what he would experience. He understood that slavery was a black eye. And I like to, if you will, I like to show you slavery next to sin. Because that's what sin is. Sin is bondage. Sin is something that will keep you down. Sin, brothers and sisters, will cost you more than you're willing to pay. Sin will keep you longer than you're willing to stay. Yeah. Sin will take you lower than you really ever want to go. I'm talking about sin now. I'm talking about sin. Yeah. And sin will keep you wrapped up in the wrong mundane things of this world and cause you to lose focus. And something about sin will scar you. I seen some pictures of slave Arvery inside of that museum, and I seen the backs of these individuals were scarred. It showed the whip marks, it showed the beat marks. And I don't know about you, that sin, my brothers and sisters, has a way of putting scars on us. And can I tell y'all, some of us put our own self in bondage because we continually want to sin. Preach, Bush, I am. Don't worry, I'm going to get there. Because we find ourselves, we're always wanting to put our hands on everything. And I find out when we put our hands on it, we always mess it up. Whenever we put our hands on something, we have a way of destroying what we put our hands on. Because we're sinners. This flesh is nothing good about this flesh. And I'm clear, watch this. I got to tell you this story real quick and I'm moving on. While we were on the trip to Cincinnati, we came back home, Dr. Armstrong. We drove all the way to Cincinnati. We drove all the way back because we had to go to a funeral. That's the life of a pastor. You still got to be a pastor. Even when you're on your anniversary, you got to come home. We came home, and so while we were there, we got back to the city, and I decided to say, well, let me take this car. I'm going to run through the car wash. And so we get to the car wash, and the guy inside, he says, well, I'll tell you what, he says, you can stay in the car. And what you can do is, I'll just drive it in, and you can just ride through with it. I said, okay, that's cool. So I get out. I get in the back seat. My wife is sitting in the passenger seat, and I get in the back, and I'm waiting for the car to go through. Well, while the guy drives the car up, he gets out of the car, and he shuts the door, and he starts just doing this little thing, and he sprays it with the water hose, and all of a sudden, my wife said, where's he going? I said, he's cleaning the car. He's getting the car, prepping the car so it can go through. She said, but don't he got to go through with us? Don't he got to go? I said, no, he got to go through with us. He ain't got to go through with us. And all of a sudden, the car starts moving, and it starts to go through the car wash. And my wife, she's almost getting frantic because, one, she's claustrophobic. And she normally doesn't like going through there. And two was, she didn't see somebody in the driver's seat. And she was trying to figure out, wait a minute, who's going to guide this thing through here? And I'm looking at her, I'm in the back now, so she's looking back at me, and I'm looking up here at her. I said, girl, you don't need nobody to drive this thing. It's going to make it through there. And she's like, well, he got out. He got out. He's not in here with us. But the car, mind you, is continually still going through the car wash. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? And it was continually going through the car wash. And no sooner we got outside, I eventually got up in the car seat, in the driver's seat, and I said to her, we was getting ready to go, she said, I just can't believe it. She said, I don't understand it. Nobody was in the car when the car was going through. Because I said, so then it came to my mindset, well, ask her a question. And my question was, well, what do you normally do when you go through the car wash? She says, I put my hands on the steering wheel. I said, oh. I said, you put your hands on the steering wheel for what purpose? She said, to guide the car through the car wash. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Jesus said, here's your illustration there, son. Here's your illustration. That's just like us. We got a guy to lead us who's already got his hands on this thing. And here we come, we always want to put our hands. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's about money, relationships. I don't care what it is. Our health. We always want to put our hands on. I don't know about you, but you better let the Lord guide you. Because the Lord is able to guide you. He don't need your hands yet. That's what the Lord lead us. And I don't know about you, doctor. Let me tell you this. One thing I learned, you ain't got to see who's guiding you.